What's up everyone and welcome back to another top 10 most interesting facts video about the clones that served for the Grand Army of the Republic. Leave a like and comment on which Star Wars character you guys would like to see me next do in this series, and make sure to click that subscribe button as well. Now let's get into this video. Number 1. Clone Troopers' fast growth rate. Due to the war to come, Jedi Master Sifo Dyas insisted to the Kaminoans that the clone troopers needed an accelerated growth rate to prepare for the war to come against the Separatists. This allowed the thousands upon thousands of troopers to be ready for the Battle of Geonosis in the start of the Clone Wars. Number 2. The Republic wanted to have a clone army rather than a droid army. No matter how much battle experience a droid gets, it is truly never going to be able to reach the level of humanism as a clone. The way that people take and process information, especially on the battlefield, is completely different than what a droid compared to a clone would think. The Republic did not want an army of mindless droids that were each programmed in the exact same way. They wanted the clones to each have individual thoughts and personalities, that this allowed for a brotherhood, with many of the clones sacrificing their lives in order to protect or save one of the other clones. Number 3. Clone troopers had many different combat skills. Throughout the war, many clones had different missions to defeat the Separatist army. This allowed the clones to each learn different combat skills on Kamino in order to prepare themselves for the battlefield. Some of the clones had unique skills that made them more like special forces, with their combat skills to be able to sneak behind enemy lines without any detection. Captain Rex and the 501st are a perfect example of a special forces kind of combat. To use different equipment like jetpacks to use the element of surprise against the Separatist forces, whereas Commander Cody and the 212th Battalion were on the ground using their numbers to distract or to weaken the Separatist army. Number 4. The Republic wanted clones to have different personalities. Unlike droids being programmed the exact same way to make sure that they each follow exactly how the order should be given, the Republic wanted the clones to individualize themselves to make sure they were unique. They wanted to give each of the clones names or nicknames to make sure that they felt special towards the thousands upon thousands of clones. Different symbols on their helmets and uniforms to differentiate themselves from other clones. Many clones use markings all over their gear to remember important battles fought or fallen brothers that they had lost. Number 5. Not all Jedi liked clones. Most of the Jedi saw that clones as assets that without them there would have been no chance to win this war. Many Jedi would fight to the end with their clones out of respect to what they have done for the Republic. Ahsoka Tano and Captain Rex are a perfect example of loyalty and honor with one another. After countless missions together, especially towards the end of the war with Darth Sidious activating Order 66. Rex was able to resist the inhibitor chip long enough to give Ahsoka the information from Fives that she would needed in order for her to discover the inhibitor chips. The respect and loving bond that Ahsoka and Captain Rex had with one another is the reason why they survived. Not all Jedi were like this. There was one Jedi in particular during the Clone Wars that hated clones and treated them as they were expendable. That Jedi being Pong Krell. This Jedi was known to have the highest death count of clones under his command than any other Jedi in the Jedi Order. One of the bloodiest battles throughout the Clone Wars was the Battle of Umbar. Krell would lead Captain Rex and the 501st into the battle against the concerns of Captain Rex, as so many of his brothers had been injured or killed throughout this battle. Krell would refuse Captain Rex to retreat or send more reinforcements to their position. Once the base was captured, Krell told the clones that the enemy had stolen Republic weapons and gear and dressed up as clone troopers, trying to disguise themselves to be able to sneak into our base and catch us by surprise. Captain Rex and the 501st would soon meet on the outskirts of the city and begin shooting at each other, thinking that each one was the enemy, until Captain Rex reveals that they had been shooting at their own brothers. The troops realized the betrayal of Krell and moved to execute him. Captain Rex led his troops to fight against Krell after so many clones had been killed under his command. The clones were able to capture him and executed him for his crimes against the Republic. Number 6. The clone trooper that left the order to start a family. Cut was one of the first clone troopers that fought in the Battle of Geonosis. However, shortly into the battle, his transport was shot down, leaving many of his brothers with him to either be injured or dead. Due to this traumatic event, Cut decided to leave the war to go start a family. Cut would start a family and live on a farm to grow crops and raise livestock. A much more peaceful life until the war made its way to his home. Captain Rex was shot by a commando droid and needed medical attention. The troopers take Rex to Cut's farm to receive medical attention. Rex and Cut were able to talk about this decision to leave the war and his brothers behind. During this time, Cut's 2 adopted children activated a fallen transport with commando droids inside, as they had now been activated and were searching the farm. Cut and Rex would team up once again to defend Cut's farm and defend his family against these commando droids, one by one defeating the commando droids using their training just like they were in the simulator. Number 7. The inhibitor chips. Jedi Master Sifo Dyas meant for these inhibitor chips to be used as a way to protect the clones from any orders that would go against the Republic. However, the Sith had a different purpose for these inhibitor chips. The clones were as much in the dark about these inhibitor chips as the Jedi, until Darth Sidious activated Order 66 and the clones couldn't resist the order to open fire upon the Jedi. Any clone that resisted or questioned the order would also be considered treason against the Republic. Number 8. Clone Troopers inhibitor chip activated early. During the battle of a separatist space station, the clone trooper CT-5385 or TUB inhibitor chip activated early, causing the clone trooper to assassinate the Jedi Master Tiplar. Due to this, the Republic had to retreat from the battle as they were stunned by what had just transpired. Clone trooper CT-5385 was under arrest for killing Tiplar and not even realizing what he had just done. This news would soon make its way to the Jedi Council, as they would now investigate what caused the clone trooper to disobey orders and be able to kill a Jedi. Number 9. The Empire replaced clone troopers with stormtroopers. The Empire wanted to do this because they thought that if they continued to use clones, that the Senate would have inevitably figured out what the true purpose of the clones and revealed the Sith used the clones to execute the Jedi. Another reason they stopped producing clones is that Tarkin went to Kamino to speak with the Kaminoans to stop producing clones, as they were only served for the Republic and no longer needed to serve the Empire. The Emperor wanted a massive army. He wanted more numbers than actual good soldiers to show his dominance towards the galaxy. This is why many people noticed that stormtroopers had really bad aim in the original trilogy, because they did not reach the same amount of training nor experience in the simulators on Kamino as normal clones did during the Clone Wars. Number 10. The Bad Batch helped rescue clone troopers from Mount Tantus. To rescue Omega, the Bad Batch soon found out that the Empire had been capturing clones. They were experimenting on if these clones could have the same skills needed to become a clone assassin. These clone assassins would be completely brainwashed to not remember their past life, to serve the Empire in special missions throughout the galaxy. Once the Bad Batch was able to break into Mount Tantus and free all the clones still alive, they were finally able to be free. Captain Rex and the Bad Batch helped the clones hide away from the Empire so that they could finally live a normal life away from a war. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.